The concept of cleanliness is not race neutral. Clean and dirty. Those are terms that have been used to put down and demean black people and to justify their mistreatment. Historically, an understanding of black people as unclean was used to justify in ways such as segregated drinking fountains, bathrooms, and public spaces. Medical communities tried to scientifically prove that black people were carriers for diseases. Think COVID. Ones that further demanded their isolation from society. There was an actor named Jake Gyllenhaal a while back that mentioned to a magazine called Vanity Fair that increasingly he finds that bathing to be less necessary. The internet ran with it, and news outlets, some magazine called The Insider, actually covered it and criticized it. Twitterers had a ball, and they made memes about it. The issue isn't about dermatology, if you want to be fancy about it. It's also about race. Hyper-cleanliness, that's long been pushed and shoved down black people's throats. Some who say do not have the same privilege to dial back as their white counterparts. A man named Carl Zimrig, a Pratt Institute professor of science and cultural studies, told The Insider that this notion that white is somehow pure and cleaner is dominant in beauty products and hygiene products in ways that are remarkably corrosive, his words. Celebrities like Bradley Cooper, Ashton Kutcher, they're taking a natural approach to hygiene. They were responding to a hygiene question posed by actor and podcast host Dax Shepard, who said, people should not be getting rid of their natural oil on their skin with a bar of soap every day. Now, other stars have been taking deodorant to task. Bradley Cooper, Cameron Diaz, Matthew McConaughey, and Brad Pitt have said that they don't wear it due to concerns like clogged pores. Each his own. Robert Pattinson and Julia Roberts are among those who say they rarely wash their hair, with the former chalking up to just flat-out laziness, and the latter arguing that shampoo strips hair of its natural oils. Zimmer told Insider that the notion that darker skin is dirtier or less clean was used to justify slavery and colonization in the 1700s and 1800s. Soap ads at that time also featured images of black children turning white after taking a bath to sell the products. He said as a result, black leaders like Booker T. Washington, what they did, they pushed a strong sense of hygiene as a way to earn respect and push back on racialized stereotypes in the late 1800s. A lot of good that did. Now, while our scientific ideas on hygiene may have changed, the legacy of these stereotypes still remain present today, Zimrig said. Check it out. A 2017 Dove soap ad and 2008 United States presidential election when Joe Biden complimented Barack Obama as being clean. The fact that white people are unburdened by stereotypes that they smell came to a head in about 2019 when a white writer said that she showers her face and armpits a few times a week and think it's fine. Black people responded with social media shaking their head. And there was a video called, quote, "The Case for Washcloths, Why White People Need to Wash the Damn Legs." By the way, there's some truth behind this theory that bathing less is better for the skin. Like the gut and the stomach, the skin has its own ecosystem of bacteria, good and bad. Too much scrubbing and foaming can actually eat away at the good bacteria, while taking a more moderate cleansing approach can help it do its job to maintain healthy balance. Bathing too much can also strip away natural oils that help protect hair and skin. Daniel Ganjian, a pediatrician at Providence St. John's Health Center in Santa Monica, California, previously told the magazine Insider, if white people want to believe that a light drizzle counts as a shower, who am I to stand in their way? However, the ability to do this and retain their humanity is built around a myth from white supremacy that white people are the standard for clean. Black people have never had the ability to be anything less than extremely hygienic. And even that's not enough to stop overt and covert forms of racism. Indeed, if you look at some of the advertisements from the late 19th and early 20th century, they're interesting. Because this is the first period where there's really illustrations rather than simply text in advertising. As racial stereotypes are common at those levels, the way that race, ethnicity, and hygiene informs soap and cleanser products, the book Clean and White is actually based on a David Price soap ad, which has two black women washing laundry. And they're talking about David Price's soap. It makes their laundry clean and white. And those type of ads are not particularly unusual, that stereotypes used racialized products. And there are many advertisements like that. In racialized ads, in case of some ads, Chinese are doing the laundry to sell the products. What's more disturbing is that by the 1870s, we see a more insidious racial stereotype where soaps and cleansers claim to wash black skin, or in the case of some ads, tertiary skin or indigenous American skin, white. Seriously, if you haven't yet, Google earlier first soap advertisements. These are images of people putting soap on dark-skinned people to turn their skin white. Soap was all about whiteness. If you can convince people that black people are dirtier and less human, you can justify putting them in ghettos, not giving them rights, etc., etc. You know, we don't see soap that way now, of course, but some of that imagery still subtly lingers. I mean, look, like Ivory soap is still Ivory soap. The bars are usually white. That means something. And you know, just a few years ago, Dove got into trouble, and Nivea got into trouble for some ads that seem to call back to that racialized history of soap. Based on historical records, on both autobiographies as well as the rise of empires such as Madam C.J. Walker's empire, the hygienic practices of freed black Americans in the 19th century was actually higher than those for whites, who were even middle class or upper class at that time. Let me give you an example. Booker T. Washington, in his autobiography in 1901, Up from Slavery, he talks extensively about how he instilled elevated hygienic practices among the pupils of his Tuskegee Institute, in particular saying that the gospel of the toothbrush was a civilizing force for freed black Americans. And the logic of it is, at the time of the citizenship, the status of freed black Americans was very much contested. Washington's efforts, and not just his, there was various efforts that the Urban League, the NAACP, and black newspapers such as the Chicago Defender and the Pittsburgh Courier, there would be cleanup events for neighborhoods, as well as tips on how to wash your body and your clothes. Bottom line, the history of soap and hygiene is racialized and has been used to support this idea that white people inherently are cleaner, better, superior. Here's my take. Black people, we've never had the ability to be anything less than extremely hygienic. And obviously, once again, even that's not enough to stop overt and covert forms of racism. And as white people continue to believe that shaving cream counts as soap, the way black people have been treated in this country, Brad, and worldwide, it would be in our best interest to continue to bathe thoroughly. We ain't got the luxury to smell bad.